And welcome back to day 2 of the 2023 Mountain West Football Media Days. We're going to kick things off here today with the New Mexico Lobos. Head coach Danny Gonzales entering his 4th season, kind enough to make some time for us here on the set here in Las Vegas. I'm also joined by Nate Kreckman here today at the Mountain West Radio Network. Coach, 4th season down in Albuquerque, leading your alma mater. Where are you at in the building process and the rebuilding process as it relates to where you wanted to be when you first took the job 4 years ago?
Well, I knew what it was going to take to rebuild our program. I did a lot of investigation before I took the job, and I thought it would be year 4 or 5 before we started seeing the results that we wanted. Obviously, very disappointed with the 2-10 season last year, but I'm excited about our football team and the opportunity to compete. 43 days away.
Offensive side of the football, Coach, you got to get that passing game going. You know that you got to be able to score more points. But Brian Vincent from UAB, is the goal of this offense to get more vertical this year?
Absolutely. I mean, we only scored 12 points a game. You're not going to win games scoring 12 points a game. And we played good enough on defense. I mean, if you consider not the special teams and offensive points we gave up, we held people to 19 points a game. You should be able to win some football games. Not when you're scoring 12. So, obviously, we need to score some more points. We need to be able to run the ball so we can set up the play-action pass game and take some over the top. Now, at UAB, for the last 5 years, he led the nation in yards per completion. So, there's some excitement in that. Now, you have to have players, and I think we have a couple.
Dylan comes in with a ton of experience, and if you stack him up against the returners in the Mountain West, 25 starts would rank second behind Chevin Cordero. Him having the being in the know in the offense that Coach Vincent wants to run, how key was that to get everybody up to speed and what you want to do with Dylan at quarterback?
Significant. Yeah. Having somebody that has the experience in the offense has been huge, and the guys on our team like him. I mean, he's a natural leader. They've gravitated to him, so he helped, obviously, with his experience in the offense and his time with Coach Vincent. So hopefully we'll see that lead to success on the field.
Well, Coach, you know that it starts in the trenches to be able to get that passing game going. Who are you going to be leaning on this season along the offensive line to help out Dylan Hopkins in that offense?
J.C. Davis, obviously, is our stalemate at left tackle, played well for us last year. DJ Wingfield over on the right side, he tore his ACL in the first game against Maine. He actually tore it in warm-ups, played about 20 snaps before he ended up coming out. He's healthy and he's back, so I think we're going to be pretty good at the tackle spot. And then C.J. James, Colin James, our center, he played really well last year until he got a high ankle sprain towards the end of the year. So those three we're pretty confident in. Now, we've added a lot of transfers. I mean, we have 11 offensive linemen that we think can play at this level. So if you're not good up front, though, you don't have any chance. It doesn't matter what those skill guys are. It doesn't matter how good Dylan is. And we think we've improved up front, so we're excited to see him play.
Running the football, we've seen Christian Washington be very electric in the open field, especially on special teams. One, do you anticipate using him continuing on special teams? And two, where does he fit into the offensive scheme that Coach Vincent wants to run?
Well, I think he's one of the best kick returners in the country. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So we'll keep him back there on kickoff returns. He is dynamic. He's fast. Now we have some good players in that room, and I think to be a really good running back, you have to find somebody that can take 20 to 25 carries because they have to get in the rhythm of the game, especially with being an outside zone team. So between him, Andrew Henry, Sherrod White, Ja'Cory Merritt, who we added from Alabama State recently, we're going to have a good competition, and Christian will fit right into that mix, and the best one's going to play the most.
So let's flip over to the defensive side of the football now. You lost a lot of talent on that defense, but you had some really solid depth last year. Who steps up? Who takes the reins on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, Tavian Combs will be back. He's healthy. I mean, he was our best player before he tore his ACL against UTEP. A.J. Halsey, who went to Houston, filled in for him. So that's the most important position on our team, on defense anyway. And so having that guy with leadership and Tavian coming back, we'll be fine right there in the middle. Up front, we finally got some guys that have some experience. I mean, Kyler Drake is 6'5", 280. He's been there with our program for 4 years now. He's the kind of guys we need up front. Tavian Ford, our nose guard, and Tyler Keeney and Bryce Santana. We have some depth in the middle there. And we added a young man from Washington State, Gabriel Lopez, who I think he's pretty twitchy. He's got a chance to do some really good things in this league. In the secondary, I mean, we obviously lost Jarek Reed to the NFL. I mean, it's hard to replace a guy that's going to that league.
6th round pick, by the way.
Yeah,
Seattle.
And I mean, he's gonna have a chance to play. I mean, they like him already. So, and he's a really good player. I'm not surprised one bit. He'll have success in that league because of the personality, and plus he's a really good football player. We added some transfer portal safeties: Noah Pola-Gates, DeArco Perkins McAllister, one from TCU, one from Nebraska. They're talented. We got to get them to go the right direction and play full speed, and we'll be all right. There won't be a drop-off on defense. I mean, I think we're better up front than we were, and the trick is to get them to play hard. And then Coach Long has been a mentor of mine for 25 years. We still talk once a week, so this is I'm excited about what we got on the defense.
Yeah, some shoes to fill there, Jesse.
No question about it. I mean, his defense at 3-3-5 has been very successful everywhere he's gone. In what ways did he lay the foundation that he now lets the guys and your new defensive coordinator, Refit, go ahead and just take the keys and drive the Ferrari?
Well, I think that's the great thing about Coach Long is he's an unbelievable teacher. He's a great teacher of coaches. He's a great teacher of players. I mean, when we were at San Diego State, myself, Zach Arnett, Tony White, I mean, all four of us were on the same staff. And Coach Long did a great job of teaching us. We've all went on and had success at other places because of him. And so that's why I'm excited about just letting this thing continue to grow.
What are those conversations with Coach Long now as in relation to what they were maybe 6 months ago? What do you guys talk about that you guys still talk, as you say, regularly once a week?
Compare notes. What are we doing? What we're doing against other people? Kind of the same stuff that we did when he was here. We just had that conversation on the phone instead of sitting in the meeting room. And then we can still share video. We can still share film and all those ideas. Same thing we did when I was at Arizona State and he was at San Diego State. So we've already had that part of the relationship. So it's old hat.
On a personal note, what did Rocky mean to you in terms of passing on traditions and as a mentor, as a football coach, an absolute legend in this league? What did he mean to you personally?
Well, I think he's the best defensive coach in all of college football. And I mean, I'll fight that with anybody. I had the opportunity to work as an assistant under him for over 20 years. And then I got to be his boss for a couple of years. So that was a lot of fun. I mean, all those 20 years of that. The dynamic that we have is I mean, he really protected me in this business and gave me a lot of opportunities and kept me away from the bad side. So I'm forever grateful for that. And learning from someone like that, and like I said, he's a great teacher. That's why the four of us have had success in what we do.
What did we were very impressed with Dante Martin when he came up here and represented your program against UNLV last year. Punctures along, plays three quarters through that, comes back. What did he prove to his teammates, to you? You already knew he was a great player, but that's next level toughness of don't take me off of this field.
We have a thing around our place. It doesn't matter what happens to you. If you get knocked down, if you get hurt, whatever, you find your way to the sideline. And if you're almost dead, we'll come and get you. I mean, that's the only reason that you lay there. And we've had guys with torn ACLs. We've had guys with broken legs crawl their way off. Dante did the same thing. I mean, his lung collapsed during the game, and he refused to come out. Not that we did. He wouldn't even tell us.
Yeah.
Until later, he was like, coach, something's on the side. And finally, we're like, well, okay. And then when they took X-rays and found out he had a collapsed lung, unbelievable. The toughness that and I don't know the way the doctors explain it. He is a tough sucker.
You know, Dante Martin and Tavian Combs, we talked about the Lobo position before, but I'm always fascinated by this. And you've coached in this defense for so long. That Lobo position, just tell everybody, what exactly is that player designed to do? What skill set does somebody have to be successful in that role?
It's a very unusual skill set. You have to be a tough guy that can get up there and take on 300-pound old linemen at around 200 pounds. We put him as our middle linebacker, but he's about 8 yards. We don't give him rules. You can go under him, you can go around him, you can go behind him, you can do all the untraditional things, which makes it hard for those guys. And if a guy continuously makes the wrong decision, we don't give him rules. We fire him, and we find somebody else that can do it. And so you have to be able to cover in space. So recruiting that guy out of high school, if you take a safety, that guy's never played in the box before. And if you take a linebacker, very few of them have backpedaled in space. So it's a tricky challenge to find that guy. And once you find one like Tavian Combs, you got to just get him better every single week.
Last bowl game for the program, 2016 New Mexico Bowl. What does this leading this program, your alma mater, your hometown, what does it still mean to you to be the front man, the figurehead, the head coach of the New Mexico Lobos?
It's a great honor. I knew when I took this job the challenges we were going to face and what it was going to take, and I have probably to a fault a stubbornness that we're going to win a conference championship. We're going to continue to grow and have a chance to compete to get into a bowl game. I mean, that's the whole idea. And Albuquerque, when we had Lobo football rolling in the mid-2000s, Coach Long was there. I mean, 40,000 people a week. Basketball showed us last year that those people are still hungry for it. So we just need to win some football games and get some people to show up.
Yeah, very much so. And, you know, the frustration of really not having seen the results on the field yet. But still, this is your fourth year with this program. Do you feel as though you're really laying the ground with the culture that you want to build in Albuquerque?
With the amount of transfers that we took in, I really was happy with where our culture is. Because you got a guy, I mean, you've got guys coming from TCU who was in the national championship, and from Nebraska, I mean, programs that are, quote unquote, a lot bigger than ours, and you can get some prima donnas that think they're better than New Mexico. Well, the guys that we had in our program that have been building this culture and this standard for the last 3 years, they took those guys and said, hey, this is the way we do it. We don't do it however you guys did it before. Either you're with us or get out. And they transformed. So hopefully that'll lead to some success on the field.
With that culture and the we're going to get it done, how do you think that the preseason poll being picked last played in your locker room? Chip on the shoulder, points to
There's
prove?
a chip on the shoulder, but when you're 2-10, they should pick you last. And then go out there and prove on the field that you're not the worst team. So our guys are excited to play. We'll have fun. I mean, it's we had this model. We built this model at San Diego State. We won 3 conference championships in a 5-year period. We're on the same path. You want to be a good coach, you get good players. And I think we have some good players on this roster.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time here helping us kick off day 2 of Mountain West Football Media Days. Always appreciate your time and your insights and your energy. Good luck to the Lobos here in your 4th season.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, the Mountain West is a great league, and we've got some teams that are going to compete. I mean, we're going to compete on a national level. With the new playoff, we're going to be one of the 6 guaranteed spots in that because we're going to be one of the automatic qualifiers. So it's great for our league. I appreciate you guys and all you do for our league because you guys give us a social media presence. You give us a live TV network presence. So thank you. You guys do a great job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Good luck. It's time now to turn to Bridget Howard for some more insight on New Mexico. She's standing by with one of the Lobo insiders.
Thanks, Jess. I'm here with Brandon Ortega from KOB4 from Albuquerque. All right, Brandon, tell me, what were your thoughts after watching the Lobos heading into spring ball and heading into this season?
Yeah, first of all, I was like, there's a lot of new dudes. There's so many new, there's, I think, almost 40 newcomers for the Lobos, and Danny Gonzales told me that is the most he's ever had in his coaching career as an assistant, as a head coach, certainly now with New Mexico. So a whole lot of changes, offensively in particular. Every position, there was a lot of new recruits coming in, transfers coming in, and then the defense had some departures too, some that they didn't expect, some they did expect. So there's a whole lot of new faces, and we'll see how that pans out for the Lobos.
Well, one of those new faces is offensive coordinator Bryant Vincent joining the Lobos from UAB. What will he do for this offense?
I think he's just going to bring in some juice. I think he's going to bring in an established presence. The last offensive coordinator they had, it was his first time as an OC. Bryant Vincent is a veteran in that position, and he's bringing in some guys that were with him at UAB, and he had a lot of success as the interim head coach. And I think he's just going to bring in someone that knows how to move the ball, whether it's on the run, or it's certainly passing it a lot. I think the Lobos are going to pass it more than we've seen in the last 3 years.
Yeah, well, along with Vincent comes transfer quarterback Dylan Hopkins, who's also from UAB. I mean, how critical will he be in getting this offense going on the right foot?
That's where he sets the tone. Dylan Hopkins is someone that knows Bryant Vincent's offense inside and out, and he knows some of these guys that came in with him, so that familiarity expands with those guys that came from UAB, and I think they hit the ground running in spring. He was there for the entire spring camp, which is huge, and I think the returners they have and the newcomers, the transfers, your DJ Washingtons, Christian Washington in the backfield, who was the Lobos' only preseason All-Mountain West selection, I think there's a ton of talent. I think it's just a matter of meshing them together. They got a lot of reps in spring ball, summer. Every time I'm around that facility, there's a lot of excitement. There's just a lot of change. Some of it, you never know how all that's going to pan out. But Danny Gonzales knew he had to make huge changes on offense. That's why he did it in the middle of the year last year. And bringing in Bryant Vincent, Dylan Hopkins, and the rest of the newcomers, the transfers, it's going to be the most unique Lobo offense I think we've seen in Danny Gonzales' tenure.
Well, let's talk about this non-conference slate because, boy, do you get some interesting teams. You got Texas A&M, UMass, Tennessee Tech, New Mexico State. Which of those non-conference games are going to be most important for the Lobos and getting on the right track early on this season?
Every year, the New Mexico State, New Mexico game, that's what the fans circle. It doesn't matter what their records are. it certainly matters who won the year before. The Aggies beat the Lobos for the first time in a couple years last year, so the Lobos are hungry to get a win in that one, no doubt. UMass, I've been told that's probably the furthest the Lobos have ever traveled for a non-conference game, so that'll be an interesting test just traveling so far and playing a team that they're not very familiar with. A&M certainly is going to be the most challenging, especially starting the season against an SEC team, so every non-conference game is going to be really, really big, but Aggies-Lobos for New Mexico fans, nothing gets better than that.
Always a heated rivalry between those two. Well, Brandon, thank you so much for your time. Coming up next, we'll hear from the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors head coach Timmy Chang here at Mountain West Football Media Days in Las Vegas.